Hello, it's Celestina, and today's video is going to be on keeping track of your assignments so that you don't fall behind. Do you have problems keeping track of your assignments and falling behind in some of your classes? I have some tips that might be able to help you. So in the past, I've had issues with looking at my calendar, seeing all these assignments, and not actually writing them down or anything, just kind of like looking at them, calling it a day. And then I would get overwhelmed with all of the assignments that I had due, and I would often fall behind. So I have a couple of tips that have worked for me that might be able to help you with this. First, I'm going to start off by showing you how I plan out my assignments, when I plan them out, and just showing you how I space them out in my planner, what I use to actually write everything down and keep track, and then also alternative options if you don't like paper options. And another one that I'm going to be talking about is how I set my days and my time limits for each of my assignments so that I don't get overwhelmed. So we're going to start off with when I start to organize my assignments. I go into Canvas and I look at my assignments every Monday. From there, I go and I write them down in my planner. This is going to be my April one. I wanted to show this one because it has most of like all the nitty-gritties in there. This was May, not a whole lot, which is why I wanted to show April, because it has a little bit more of a better example. So I go in on Monday and I write down when each assignment is due, and I also write the class that it's for so that I know which class it is. From there, I begin to look at which one is due on which day, and I do those ones first. Those ones are always going to be my top priority because those ones are due first. After I do that, then I go in and I look at each assignment and I determine which one's going to be the easiest and the quickest to complete, and I give myself about 30 minutes max for those assignments, and then the longer assignments I give myself about an hour. I usually give myself a max of about 3 to 4 hours a day, and I had my days set from Monday to Wednesday. So those were the 3 days that were like my bulk days that I would get most of my assignments. Any miscellaneous or leftover ones I would save for Thursday, and then I finish them all off on Thursday. I would only give myself, like I said, a couple hours just so that I wouldn't get overwhelmed, because working on all of your assignments at once can be very, very overwhelming, especially when you have multiple and they're for different classes. I have a hard time getting overwhelmed very easily with my assignments, so that was a way that really helped me because I was able to give myself that break that I needed. I also, in my time slots, I would also give myself like about 10 to 15 minutes, especially when I was switching to a different subject, because sometimes your brain has to shut off and shut back on to go to the other one. Another option, if you don't like to write things down on paper, is Notion. Notion is a really good app. It has a calendar. You're able to plan everything out. It has agendas. You can create your own little template. It's a really cute thing. I don't have one set up yet because I like using my planner. I also like to color code by class, as you can tell. So each different color is a different class that has assignments that are due, and I always mark them off with the highlighter when I complete them so that I know that they're done and I don't have to go back and double check to make sure that they're done. And once I'm done, that's pretty much it. When I have an extreme amount of assignments, I tend to give myself a little bit more time. Like this past week, I had about, I think, 15 assignments. So I gave myself about 5 hours so that I could give myself more time, because a lot of them are projects and really big assignments. So I like to give myself a little bit more time, and I like to plan out that time so I'm able to have time for other things as well. And I always stop when I've reached my limit. When I know I'm tired and I'm over it and I don't want to do any more assignments and I start getting overwhelmed, that's when I cut it off. That's when I'm like, okay, we're done. no more for the day. School can be overwhelming, and assignments don't always help with that. It can always be tricky to make sure that you're staying on top of your assignments and honestly just trying to stay ahead. So I hope my video was helpful with you and you were able to use some of my tips that I've mentioned in my video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.